Her name was Naïla, a 26-year-old black woman, tall and slender, with a graceful silhouette and features sculpted like a high-fashion model. When people looked at her, they often thought the world should belong to her. But in reality it already did. And it was cruel. Since the age of 19, Naïla had been chasing castings, doing amateur photo shoots, posting videos on social media, and jumping on every TikTok challenge. She knew all the filters, all the trends, all the dances. She had paid photographers, bought designer clothes on credit, all in hopes of the moment. But that moment never came. Every modeling audition ended the same way. A polite smile, an empty look, and that cursed phrase, "We'll be in touch." But no one ever got in touch. One day, she was the only candidate at a casting for a jewelry brand. Even then, she failed. "We ended up changing the concept," they told her, avoiding eye contact. She walked home, defeated, her makeup still flawless, but her heart shattered. Her phone buzzed only for useless notifications. On TikTok, her videos barely reached 9 views.
9.
3 of which were probably her own. Sometimes, the comments were cruel. "What kind of face has zero charisma? You've had 2,010 followers for years and still haven't blown up?" But most of the time, there was silence. And somehow that was worse. By day, she worked in a small local snack shop, apron on her hips, always on her feet, wearing a forced smile. By night, she posed in front of white bedsheets she'd hung as a backdrop, lit by a single warm bulb, holding fake designer bags. And yet, at the end of each month, it was the same fight. Calls about late rent, payment reminders, mobile bills piling up, and the suffocating feeling of being trapped in a tunnel with no exit. One evening, heart tight and voice trembling, Naïla picked up her phone and called Cassie, an old classmate from high school.
Cassie had made it.
Millions of followers. Trips to Bali, Dubai, Paris. Luxury brand deals.
Yachts.
Exclusive parties. "Cassie, I need your help. I can't pay my rent anymore. Just a loan. I'll pay you back as soon as I can." A long silence on the line, then a sigh. "Naïla, you know I already help you a lot. I gave you contacts. I reposted your video. I even invited you to 2 events. Why don't you just become like me?" Naïla bit her lip. "Of course I want that, but every time I try, I fail. Even my posts barely get 10 views. It's like I'm cursed." The silence returned. Heavier this time. Deeper. Then Cassie's voice softened, more mysterious. "Come to my place tomorrow. I'm going to offer you something, but be very sure of yourself. Once I show you this, there's no turning back." Naïla frowned. "What do you mean?" "Just come. You'll understand. But know this. In this world, nothing is free. And everything has a price, especially success." Naïla showed up at Cassie's house the next morning, just before noon. She had barely slept. Too many questions, too many thoughts colliding in her head. And deep inside her, a strange feeling, a mix of fear, curiosity, and hope. She wore simple jeans, a black t-shirt, and slightly worn sneakers. No trace of makeup on her tired face. When she arrived in front of Cassie's villa, she almost turned back. The gate opened automatically, slowly, in an almost solemn silence. The house, a modern mansion, straight out of a rap video. Pristine white walls, marble columns, perfectly aligned palm trees. An infinity pool shimmered under the sun, and a Bentley sat peacefully in the driveway. Cassie was waiting on the terrace, dressed in a black silk robe, a glass of champagne in hand. "You look good." "Well, almost," she said with a smirk. Naïla gave a nervous smile. She stepped inside. The interior was even more impressive. Huge mirrors, artwork on the walls, and a subtle fragrance floating in the air. But it wasn't the luxury that unsettled Naïla. It was the atmosphere. Something invisible, heavy, mystical lingered in the house. "Sit down," Cassie said. Naïla sat in a massive beige armchair, facing a glass coffee table. Cassie opened a small drawer beneath the table and pulled out a notebook. An old notebook, blackened leather, burnt at the edges. It gave off a strange scent, a mix of wood, ash, and a fragrance you never forget. What I'm about to offer you is very old. There's a price, of course, but you won't feel it right away. Naïla frowned. Is this a joke? You want me to sell my soul or something? Not your soul, your time. Cassie opened the notebook. The pages were thick, yellowed with age. Inside, neat red ink handwriting read, 10 years of wealth, success, admiration. In exchange, your name will vanish at the dawn of the 11th year. Naïla read the sentence over and over, then looked up unsure. You mean I'm going to die? Cassie remained still for a moment, then answered softly. Not the way you think. You'll be free for 10 years. A goddess among mortals. You'll live everything you never dared to dream. And when your time comes, there will be no pain. Naïla shifted uneasily in her seat. And you? Did you sign this notebook too? A smile slid across Cassie's lips. The question isn't what I did. The question is, how far are you willing to go to live the life you want? Silence fell. A long one. Naïla thought of her tiny apartment, of endless months eating pasta, of her mother's health deteriorating from lack of proper care. She thought of the shame, the humiliation of being pretty but useless, the muffled laughter of recruiters, the fake likes, the real disappointments, and of the dream inside her that refused to die. So she took the pen Cassie handed her. Her hand trembled slightly.
She signed.
The red ink shimmered for a moment, as if it were sinking into the page. Then the notebook closed. On its own. Cassie stood up. Get ready. Your new life starts tonight. The very next day, Naïla was plunged into a world that had nothing to do with the one she knew. Cassie picked her up in a black, tinted window sedan. In the back seat, a stylist was waiting with a form-fitting white silk dress, slit on the side, and glittering heels. Tonight, you're not here to watch. You're here to be watched, Cassie told her. The party was held in a luxurious villa perched on a hill, overlooking the entire city. The entrance was guarded by men in black suits holding a guest list. But the moment Naïla stepped out of the car, the doors opened as if by magic. Inside were famous influencers, singers, designers, CEOs of luxury brands, all the faces she had followed for years on Instagram. Faces that once felt completely out of reach. Cassie said very little. She simply slipped in calmly. This is Naïla. You'll be hearing a lot about her. As soon as the words were spoken, all eyes turned to her. Some took photos without even asking. Others offered her interviews, collaborations, story features. Within an hour, her name was on everyone's lips. But this was just the beginning. Later that evening, Cassie took her to another venue, an exclusive fashion show held in a repurposed warehouse-turned-futuristic runway. Chaos backstage. Flashes. Clothes everywhere. Makeup artists rushing. Designers yelling. Naïla felt overwhelmed. Until Cassie whispered, You're walking the runway.
Now.
What?
I've
never. Walk. The rest will follow. And she walked. The lights came on. The spotlights hit her. The music dropped. She walked down the runway in a sculptural black dress, eyes forward, head high. Every step, confident. Magnetic. By the end of the show, the audience was on their feet. And online an explosion. Thousands of shared videos. Comments flooding in. Who is she? Where did she come from? Her eyes gave me chills. Every piece she wore that night sold out instantly. Designers fought to offer her exclusives. Naïla, an overnight star, became a phenomenon. She set her own prices, sky high. No one negotiated. Everyone agreed. Perfume brands, handbag lines, luxury houses. They all wanted her face, her voice, her aura. In just hours, her social media blew up. 1 million followers. She now earned tens of thousands of euros per post. First-class flights, 5-star hotels, extravagant PR packages became her new normal. And on the streets, one question echoed everywhere. Did you see Naïla? Where did she come from? 2 years had passed since the night Naïla signed the pact. 2 years of glory, frenzy, lights, and wealth beyond anything she had ever imagined. She wasn't just famous anymore, she had become a living legend. Everything she touched turned to gold. Literally, brands fought over her. Her name alone was enough to sell out products in under an hour. Every public appearance triggered fan riots, flashes, screams, trending topics across all platforms. But Naïla wasn't just a star. She was rich. Rich on a level that defied logic. Her net worth? Around $200 billion, more than 130 trillion CFA francs. An unimaginable amount. She was even named the richest influencer in the world. Richer than heirs, multinational CEOs, everyone. Her, the former waitress rejected from every casting call. She didn't count money anymore. She gave it away, transformed it, gifted it, as if it fell from the sky. To her mother, she gave a dream villa in a private estate, surrounded by lush gardens, fountains, marble, and a 24/7 staff. A private doctor, a personal chef, a private spa. The house had 2 elevators, a movie theater, a tennis court, even a private chapel. To her childhood friends, she gifted cars, apartments, watches worth tens of millions. She paid for plastic surgeries for those who dreamed of a new body. She funded trips, businesses, even absurd whims. And for her little brother, only 15 years old, she gave a custom-made neon green Lamborghini with golden leather interior. He didn't even know how to drive, but he was already posing with it on Instagram, followed by millions of young fans. Naïla traveled like an empress. Private jet. Always. Commercial flights, even first class, were out of the question. When she went to Dubai, she stayed in the most expensive suite at the Burj Al Arab, 780 square meters, a suspended jacuzzi, personal butler, golden walls, and panoramic sea view. When she landed in London, it wasn't by road. A private helicopter awaited her on a skyscraper rooftop to take her directly to her secondary residence, a penthouse at the top of the Shard, where the windows displayed a simulated starry sky, even during the day. She hosted parties on private islands, with international artists, chefs flown in from Tokyo or Rome, and fireworks shows spelling out her name. She swam with dolphins in heated pools built just for her. She dined on crystal boards floating on the ocean, while violinists played pieces only she enjoyed. She bought a giant yacht, with a floating nightclub, a recording studio, a 4D cinema, and even a mini shopping mall. The media couldn't stop talking about her. TV crews followed her everywhere. She was called the Queen of the Digital Age, the girl God blessed, the one who defeated the universe. And everywhere people said she was the greatest. But Naïla, despite all the flashes and laughter, carried a silence deep inside. One afternoon, she was riding in a Rolls-Royce with her mother, a custom-painted version, with diamonds embedded in the dashboard. They had just left a private gala in Geneva and were returning to their residence in the Swiss Alps. Her mother, seated beside her, was gazing at the snowy landscape, calm, smiling. Then she gently placed her hand on her daughter's. God always gives to those who deserve. You see, I knew one day he would lift you up. He's the best. Naïla kept her eyes on the road. She didn't dare respond. Her heart tightened. Because she knew, what she had didn't come from God. She had believed once. She had prayed. She had cried. She had fasted. For months, she begged the heavens, with no answer. And now that she had everything, one terrible question haunted her. What if I had just waited a little longer? Would God have given me everything His way? Did I go too fast, too far? She looked away. She smiled at her mother, but in her eyes shimmered a deep, quiet fear. A distant voice, an echo she was desperately trying to silence. The world kept spinning around her. Naïla was everywhere, on giant screens in New York, in ad campaigns in Tokyo, at the heart of fashion shows in Paris. Her empire grew every month. Rumors even spread about her launching her own bank, a private jet brand, and a social media platform bearing her name. One day, Naïla walked the red carpet at Cannes, wearing a haute couture gown made of Swarovski crystals. She had just received an award for her exceptional influence on global culture. Cameras flashed. Applause echoed. She smiled, waved, posed. Then suddenly, her eyes narrowed. She placed a hand on her chest. Her knees buckled. She swayed and collapsed violently on the steps of the palais. Screams rang out. Assistants rushed in. The cameras were still rolling live. She had suffered an episode in the middle of the crowd. Paramedics arrived urgently, placing her on a stretcher, an oxygen mask over her face. Fans filmed through their tears. Reporters shouted, "Naïla is unconscious. She's not responding. My God, she's going to die." At the hospital, chaos broke out. Doctors surrounded her, speaking quickly, connecting machines. Her heart was still beating, faintly, but it was beating. Then, after long, tense hours, she woke up. Her eyes opened slowly. She looked around, confused, lost, then whispered, "Where am I?" Her mother was sobbing beside her. "You're in the hospital, my child. You're alive. Glory be to God." Naïla breathed slowly, then asked for her assistant. She requested her phone. Despite her condition, she went live. Her face was pale, her hair disheveled, but her gaze was still piercing. "Hi everyone. I'm here.
I'm okay. Just a little fainting spell.
I'm resting, but I promise you, as soon as I recover, I'll be back." The comments exploded. Speech balloon. "OMG, my queen, you scared me." Speech balloon, "Come back soon. We love you." Speech balloon, "Never again, you're our star." Fans cried with joy. The news made headlines. Doctors gave a statement to the press. "Ms. Naïla is out of danger. It was a case of severe exhaustion. She should be discharged tomorrow." Social media went wild. "The queen is back. She defeated death itself. Immortal, our Naïla." The next morning, she left the hospital to the applause of a crowd gathered at the entrance. She wore a simple black dress, sunglasses, but her aura hadn't faded. A luxury car was waiting. She waved at those shouting her name. Back at home, she slowly climbed the stairs of her villa, set down her bag, took off her shoes, and sat on her massive bed, silent. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages,
Calls.
contracts. She answered none of them.
She just sat there.
Motionless, silent. 2 days passed. The world waited for her return online. But nothing. Not a post. Not a word. Then one morning a housekeeper entered her room. She let out a horrible scream. Naïla was lying there, on her side, eyes closed, lifeless. This time she was truly dead. The news hit like a bomb. The whole world went into mourning. TV networks interrupted their broadcasts. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag Rip Naïla. Hashtag Our Queen is gone. Hashtag Legend forever. Some blamed the hospital. They discharged her too early. Others whispered of poisoning. It's a crime. She was about to expose something. But no one knew the truth. No one except Cassie, who, just like always, lit a black candle. She opened her leather-bound notebook, turning a page slowly, and whispered, 10 years and 2 days. Just enough to make it look like a miracle.